This episode of Linux Action Show is brought to you by GoDaddy.com.
And by Ting.com. Head over to last.ting.com and save $25 off your first device.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Linux Action Show, Season 26, Episode 8. My name is Chris.
And I'm Angela, sitting in for Matt today.
What?
I know, right?
Well, it's funny. Part of the reason you're here is, well, A, you went to LinuxFest Northwest with us.
Yep, here we go.
Yeah, you got your badge on even still. And B, Matt now has what I caught at LinuxFest Northwest. So he was out sick today, even though we're doing this on a Monday. Man.
I know.
I think we'll save that story for the second half of the show. It was, I'll just give you this. It was one of my top 2 all times being sick in my life, only being beat out by the swine flu. And you can
from Comic-Con, yeah.
You can attest to this, right? I mean, you had to come rescue me. So,
yep.
we'll
I
say more
got
about
home
that.
from the 2.5-hour drive just to go right back.
I'm sorry. All right, so coming up in this week's episode, we're going to go all over LinuxFest Northwest 2013. We've got some exclusive interviews and some tidbits we're going to share with you guys. We'll play that. And also, we got some cool stuff related to beer that might be later on in the episode and some cool feedback. And then in the news segment, we're going to talk about Left 4 Dead coming to Linux, as well as some interesting open source boards that you're going to want to get your hands on once we tell you about them. And we've even got an interview with one of the guys who's working on one of them. So that's a big show. But first, Angela, it's our picks. Now, this might just be the new media entertainment system I put in our bedroom, actually.
Oh,
It
really?
is the little black box, and it runs Linux. It's kind of got a little interesting design look to it, where it
reminds me of Boxy Box.
Yeah, it does, exactly. That's what I was going for. It's even got like the keyboard QWERTY
Oh
remote.
my gosh, it really is.
Yeah, it is.
That is hilarious.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
They've discontinued the Boxy Box in its current iteration.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
And what else is really cool about this little black box is, well, A, it runs Linux, but B, it uses XBMC, which I like a lot. And it has some interesting specs. It's going to go for $99.99 in... It's funny money. It's not U.S. money.
Funny money.
It's got an ARM Cortex A9 processor in it. It's got 1 gigabyte of RAM, 4 gigabytes of storage. It's got LAN, Wi-Fi, HDMI out, and it's going to do 1080p video. I'm okay with them doing a Boxy Box knockoff because I really liked the Boxy Box, and I was bummed when it went away.
You didn't like the remote with the keyboard on the back.
Yeah, it is a little troublesome sometimes. I agree with you on that.
And this is smaller, though. That's nice, too.
Wow, look at the back ports. It's just like 2 holes in it, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's really something. All right, so these guys...
More ports.
There's more ports. Maybe that was the front. So the little black box is going to be available. It's only available for pre-order right now. Yeah, the price point is right, but the thing I think to make me want to pull the trigger on this would be if it was available on Amazon or something.
Yeah.
That'd be really
Have
nice.
you checked?
I haven't. No, I know. So Matt, I was out sick on Saturday, which is normally when I was at LinuxFest, but then I was sick Saturday night, so I couldn't prep the show.
Right.
So Matt got home. Yeah, you do know. Matt got home, and Matt got all the links together for us this week, all the news stories and everything in here, and then he couldn't be here. So, and then I literally have just gotten back to sort of moving around.
Functionality?
Yeah, and I've reassembled the studio to about 70% capacity to record this week's episode. And so I didn't actually even check this. I didn't even find this. Matt found this. And maybe he saw it in the subreddit.
Thank you, Matt. The chat room is saying it's $189 US dollars.
Okay, there you go.
Or at least 2 people said that, so it must be true.
And you remember that was about the price of the Boxy Box. So I could take it. All right, Angela, let's take a moment and thank one of this week's sponsor, GoDaddy.com, longtime sponsors of the GoDaddy program. Now, all of you know that, oh, wait, this is kind of awkward, isn't it? Now, this is, Angela, this is my friend Danica.
Yeah.
And she gets me special deals from GoDaddy.
I just don't think this is fair to me to be put right next to someone that's so pretty.
Well, Danica
So
says the same
lame.
thing about you, actually. That's what she
Yeah,
says.
I'm
And she
sure.
says, Chris, I don't know how I can compete with your beautiful wife, Angela. She's the star of the faux show. That's what she said.
Must be the boobs.
It's got to be. I think Danica is a boob girl. Anyway, so here's the promo codes she's hooked us up with, and I think they're about to run out. So take advantage of these while they last. Go over to GoDaddy.com, and when you're checking out, use the code Linux295, and you'll get your .com for $2.95. Or, folks, prepare yourselves. You can transfer that domain from some other registrar who's not very well known, is not the #1 domain name registrar in the entire freaking world, over to GoDaddy using that Linux 295. You get the .com for $2.95 and you get a renewal for like a year. That's crazy. I don't know how they do it, but listen, maybe you don't need a .com because you're crazy. Use our promo code GO35 off 3. You'll save 35% off any new order. Man, is that a great idea if you're getting an SSL cert? Maybe you're doing yourself a little bit of hosting. GO35
Or consolidating
off 3.
your domains into one
Boom.
website.
Boom. Boom. That's what I would do if I was gonna do something smart.
Yep.
So thank you to GoDaddy.com for sponsoring the Linux Action Show, longtime sponsors, and we really appreciate everyone who visits the links in our show notes to let GoDaddy know that you appreciate them sponsoring the show and uses those codes to take advantage of the great deals that Danica's thieving Ivan for us. I think that's what she does. She doesn't call it stealing. All right, I have something that has changed my life for the better.
Other than having 3 kids.
I only have 2.5 kids right now. The third one is still on the way. Anyways, so it is called Nova Launcher, and it is an Android application. It's absolutely free, although they do have some paid upgrades. And what I love about Nova Launcher is it's a replacement for the standard Android launcher, or if your carrier has put a customizer, the vendor has put a customized launcher on there. But it's very, very, very close to stock Android with just a few extra features, one of which is you can have a higher density icon grid on your mobile device, which is nice.
And I just saw the Bitcoin tracker.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it doing great? It's doing. Yeah, this is my Bitcoin page. I have
apparently. I see that. Everything has a B on it.
Well, what's really cool about this launcher is because I know these icons so well now, one of the options in this launcher is you hold down here and you go in the settings and you can turn off icon labels. So it's just the pictures, and then you can put even more icons on your screen.
Wait, so this is like an app that you run that
replaces
its own
launcher.
map, essentially?
Yeah, it's its own desktop.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know you could do that on Android.
Angie's an iPhone user. And so, like, look, you can put, like, multiple folders down here. They have a little dock down here. It's a very nice launcher.
Well, that's really cool. I didn't know you could customize it like that.
And it has some really cool widget controls. It's insanely popular in the Android store. I'm not so sure why it took me so long to come across this. I've always been pretty happy with stock launchers. I don't want to change it very much. The other thing I liked a lot about it is it imported all of my icons and all of my widgets from my stock launcher. So I installed it and it said, hey, would you like to move over all your settings? And Bob's your uncle. All of my icons are set up. Only now I can fit twice as many icons on a single page. It's also got some nice eye candy as well as like some cube effects. It kind of reminds you back to the good old days of Barrel and Compiz. And it also lets you export your settings. So if you are going to go to another Android device or reload your Android device, you can just re-import them back in. And it's also then has some premium features that let you do some cool widget stuff. That's called Nova Launcher, and I really like it. I feel like it's really fast too. So I can check it out.
It looks pretty fast.
Yeah, it is quite. You want to play with it?
No.
No? Okay. What do you think of the size of this thing?
It's big.
Yeah.
It's a phone.
I mean, yeah. That's a big phone. Yeah. All right, I got a really. Boy, I don't know how many people this desktop pick is going to, if you could even call it a desktop pick, is really going to apply to. But Matt found this, and he and I have been kicking away to integrate it into the show. And I just said, let's just make it a pick because this is going to be so handy for the folks who need it. It is a way for Thunderbird users or Gary users or Kmail users to integrate with Exchange, to have full functionality with Exchange. It is essentially a proxy that sits between your mail client or multiple mail clients and an Exchange server. And it translates all of the proprietary Exchange communication protocols to open standards like OpenLDAP and all of those things. IMAP, SMTP, which, all that stuff. So it's called DAV Mail. And here's their pitch. I said, do you ever want to get rid of Outlook? DAV Mail is a POP, IMAP, SMTP, CalDAV, CardDAV, and LDAP Exchange gateway, allowing users to use any mail or calendar client they want with an Exchange server, even from the internet or behind a firewall through Outlook Web Access.
Ooh.
Yes. You know about that, don't you?
Yeah, that's the first part that I understood in all of that.
And you use Outlook at your work right now,
Sounds kind of
don't you?
dangerous, though, because then would my work be able to see all my Gmail?
Well, no. So you wouldn't be using it to get to your Gmail. You'd be using it to say use something besides Outlook to get to your work mail. So there is probably some inherent risk having a middleman there, but you'd have to do it all in you'd almost be like something a company would implement for their own Exchange server to offer this to some users. Anyways, it's sponsored by French Defense. So maybe the French Defense uses Exchange, but they don't use Outlook. I'm not sure. And I just thought that was a super neat solution. And again, it's called DAV Mail. And for those of you who don't need it, which is probably the majority, you're like, meh. But for those of you who do need it, it's a pretty cool solution because it just standardizes everything. You put a box in front of Exchange and it just standardizes all of that proprietary stuff they lock you in with. You know what I'm saying?
Would it make like troubleshooting email issues easier or not? No, it doesn't
Probably
standardize
not.
that.
Well, because it's one more.
Because we all still have stupid users, right?
And it's one more thing that could possibly go offline, and then mail quits.
Oh, sure.
You know, I mean, you'd still get your mail because the Exchange server would be up, but your clients wouldn't get their mail.
Okay.
It's the problem with Exchange is that it's still really an Outlook-based system, and it's just so popular in the corporate IT world.
Yeah,
and the
it sure
webmail.
is.
Have you used the webmail?
No, I don't even want to try.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It'd be nice to access my email
Yeah.
on my computer instead
Yeah.
of the Windows laptop that they gave me.
And, I look at it as one of the things that I would like to do is be able to just use Thunderbird instead of Outlook because I just feel like Thunderbird is faster. So I could see that. All right, Ange. Well, there you go. So those are our picks. We'll have links to those in the show notes. Now, don't forget Majo he's rejiggering the list, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure it's ready for announcement, though. But if you want to sign up for the Jupiter Signal, bit.ly/Jupiter Signal, I do plan to cover what his final decision is on that in the next issue.
Right, because we're closing the Jupiter Colony forums and moving over to a Google Plus community, but that's not really a great fit to keep a list of all our app picks.
Yeah.
So Majo's working on creating a permanent place for that to go, and you can find those eventually by subscribing to the Jupiter Signal.
Yep. Or the last show notes will have whatever the current website
absolutely.
is.
I want to give one plug to the subreddit. Just haven't mentioned it for a little while. LinuxActionShow.reddit.com. Tons of stuff over there right now. Wrapping up from the LinuxFest Northwest. There's Brian's Why Linux Sucks talks over there. There's a bunch of get well notes to me, as well as some very. Look at. There's already a screenshot of.
Oh my gosh! Really? You couldn't have waited until I didn't have like 4 chins?
Look at my face.
My goodness!
Look at my. You're worried about you.
You guys, you internet.
You audio listeners, if you go over to the subreddit, you'll look for the entry "rolling up dat sleeve." It just couldn't be any worse.
Rolling up dat sleeve. I like the dat.
I know.
You guys.
LinuxActionShow.reddit.com to submit links to the show, comment on stuff, get discussion threads going, all that. Matt and I are in there all the time. We appreciate it when you guys contribute to that. All right, Ange, let's do the news.
It's time for the news, and this episode is brought to you by
Ting.com. Friends, Ting is mobile that makes sense. I have my note too here on Ting, but none of that is as interesting as the little story that Angela has for us. Ting literally saved the studio.
All right, so the person when Chris got sick on Saturday,
Sick like the plague sick.
I had to go pick him up, and somebody had to drive our truck back. And then one of our other dedicated viewers offered to drive behind that person to bring them back to Bellingham,
Right.
and save me another a third 2.5 hour drive.
I was so sick from at LinuxFest, not from LinuxFest, but I got
Yeah.
sick at LinuxFest. I was so sick I couldn't even drive my own vehicle home, my own truck.
Yeah.
And he had a mobile device with him.
Well, I asked for his number before we got on the road in case we got lost or needed to talk. And he gave me a number. He's like, "Oh wait, no, that phone died. Thank God for Ting." And then he gave me his Ting phone number and said, "Text me there." And so I did. And so once we got on the freeway, I texted him and said, 52 miles of I-5.
So he had linked his tablet to his Ting's data device, and he was texting you from his tablet, and even though his phone was dead. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I met a lot of people at LinuxFest Northwest who have tried Ting out, and one of the things they have all universally commented on is how awesome their plans are. Now, here's what I love, is Ting will give you, included with your data package, tethering and Wi-Fi hotspotting. That is awesome. Now look what I've done. So I don't use the phone a lot. I use and I actually use Google Voice for my texting, so I don't even use texting that much, but I do use data. So I have my data at 1 gigabyte a month. That includes the hotspot and the tethering. I'm talking $33 a month. But what is awesome is if I have a busy week, it doesn't matter. Ting just charges me for what I use. It's not a big deal. And if I overshoot, if I add too many minutes and I don't use them, guess what? Ting will credit you on your unused service. They'll just hit you for the difference on your next bill, and I think that's really awesome. I love Ting. I talked to tons of people who've tried out Ting, and literally, if it wasn't for Ting, I don't think the studio would be back together. Big thanks to both Noah and Brian2040. There they are, sitting in the studio right there. I was dying on the couch, and they were in here bringing all the boxes and all of the crates back in and all the mics and stuff, and they had to stop and get themselves a picture. So I thought that was really cool. Thanks to those guys, and thank you to Ting.com for sponsoring the Linux Action. You go to last.ting.com and save yourself $25 off your first device or some Ting service. All right, Ange, the first story this week is a little bit of good news. Left 4 Dead, which It's funny. So Left 4 Dead is this zombie game, okay? And when Steam for Linux was announced, it was sort of co-announced with Valve's first game port, which would be Left 4 Dead coming to Linux. Now, here we are, way past Steam being out. Steam's been in beta since December. Obviously, it's been out to the public much, since then. And a lot of games have come to Steam, but one of the games that's never actually made it until now is Left 4 Dead, which I thought was really kind of funny since that was kind of what all the hype was originally built around. Well, here it is. They say this week, the week that we're recording this, we're going to see something. Look at that. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Oh, don't look at that. That's violent. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Stop watching. Oh, jeez. Oh, gosh. Oh, God. Look at the zombies. So there you go. And Left 4 Dead will hopefully be out maybe by the next time we're recording this week's Linux Action Show. It comes along support with the extended mutation system and some other new fancy features they'll be adding.
Would it be appropriate as me sitting in Matt's chair to say I'm skeptical?
That would be appropriate.
Of the release date?
Well, you notice they didn't actually say a day. Maybe it'll be tomorrow. Wouldn't that be interesting? So I got to hold something really cool in one of my hands, a Firefox OS phone this last weekend, and here it is, the first Firefox OS devices.
Say what?
Yeah, Firefox OS cell phones. You didn't know about this?
It looks like an iPhone. Oh, it's next to an iPhone.
No, it looks like an
What?
iPhone. Yeah, here it is. Now,
Okay, wait. No, who was it that sued Apple or wasn't it Microsoft that sued?
they've all been sued. Everybody's been suing everybody. Apple sued Samsung, and Microsoft sues everybody.
Right? Yeah, I think it was Samsung. This is crazy.
You do kind of wonder
me.
if they might be stepping into the targets. So this is being produced by a company called Geeks Phone, a small Spanish outfit that used to make Android headsets. And I actually held one of these in my hot little hands at LinuxFest Northwest. And this early access to the hardware, they're giving this out to developers. They've actually sold out on the high-end first run. They've sold them all, which is awesome. So we're talking two phones here, the Keon and the Peak. They can be shipped anywhere in the world. The Keon will cost $119 plus taxes, and it already is sold out. That's the one that's sold out. It'll have a 3.5-inch screen, an entry-level Qualcomm 1 gigahertz processor, a 3-megapixel camera.
So who are the carriers?
I don't know if there's any carriers yet. I think you just buy it and then you bring it to your own.
Data plan?
At least here in the U.S.
Do you use a data plan?
Well, I think you just get it and then you just go get a SIM. So like you take it up to
interesting.
then there's and then there's the Peak. It's a little more aggressive. Has a 4.3-inch screen, has a dual Qualcomm 1.2 gigahertz processor, an 8-megapixel camera, and 512 megabytes of RAM.
And so you'd get apps for that on the Mozilla App Store?
Yeah, they're going to do like sort of like how they do their add-ons, and they're all HTML. And I used it. It's
Now I am really skeptical on this. I really am.
Well,
this is really weird.
To be honest, I am a little too. Just because, and I talked about this actually in an interview we're going to have later on in the episode with one of the guys who works with the Ubuntu project, but he's also sort of doing the evangelism for Firefox OS. He sat down at our LinuxFest Northwest booth, and one of the things I asked him, I said, "Is this just too iterative? Is it gonna,
or possibly too granular?" I don't know.
No.
I think that's a Matt thing. The chat room told me to say it.
That's funny. You're taking your cues from the chat room. Yeah. Chat room, watching you.
All right.
So we'll see. I think I'll let him speak to that. But I do agree. It'll be interesting
to see what happens. So
let me give you the positive side.
Okay.
It's a free operating system. It's sort of allowing users to choose their own OS. Now, there's just not a large hardware selection yet.
Well, it's not choosing their own OS. It's Firefox OS.
Or versus Android or iOS or Windows Phone or BlackBerry.
Well, so you're just saying that there's just another competitor. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not selling you here, am I?
No, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, there you go.
At least
I tried.
I'm not a sponsor.
All right. I want to talk about something that looks like it's going to be really fun. And the price point is just right, too. It's called the Beagle Bone, I think, Black. And it's going to be 45 bones. Get it? Yeah, the Beagle Bone Black is going to have a 1 gigahertz ARM Cortex A8 processor. And this is another one of these little system-on-a-chip type devices. Look how small this thing is, Ange. It's got HDMI out. It's got USB. Wow. It's got Ethernet. I know.
Dude, we have like that big TV upstairs that doesn't even have HDMI out.
Well, yeah, that TV we bought a long time ago, though. They're going to make 100,000 boards of the Beagle Bone Black.
I don't know. You just said that really well.
Beagle Bone Black.
Beagle Bone
And
Black.
it's going to be able to run Android or Linux, which will be cool because of the type of processor that has it. It's also going to have a micro SD slot, so it'll come out of the box with a version of Linux on there. And then with the SD card, you can load up Android, you can load up whatever the heck you want. And I think this is really cool. It's from Texas Instruments, TI, good old TI. And while we were at LinuxFest Northwest, we talked with somebody from Texas Instruments who's working on something similar. It's a little more expensive. It's called the Panda Board. And I'll play that interview for you right now. All right, so tell us about the Panda Board.
It's the open source hardware platform initially sponsored by TI, Texas Instruments. It's got a dual-core ARM-based chipset from TI. The Panda Board platform is much more powerful than the Raspberry Pi.
I noticed you're running Android and Ubuntu on there.
Yeah, you can run multiple operating systems at the same time as well as because it's got multiple HDMI outputs. So you can have two HDMI outputs hooked up to that device and run multiple operating systems also at the same time, all booting via an SD card. It's got built-in Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and Bluetooth Low Energy, which again the Raspberry Pi platform doesn't have built-in Wi-Fi and so on.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
it's retailing around like $150.
Wow.
And it's got very good. Like I said, it's an open source hardware platform. All the schematics for the board is openly available.
And what's it called again?
On Panda Board.
Panda Board.
It's all the information about it. It's available on pandaboard.org. It's got multiple Linux distributions already supported on it, like the Ubuntu, Fedora, OpenSUSE, and Arch Linux, and so on, as well as Android.
So the chat room is asking, how would you compare something like this to the Beagle board, and how does it compare in cost to the Pi?
So the Beagle board is also from Texas Instruments. Panda board is also from TI.
Okay.
Panda board is a slightly higher chipset. It's got more features than the Beagle board.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more expensive than the Beagle board.
What kind of processor did you say it was?
It's the OMAP 4 processor, dual-core ARM-based chipset.
And how much memory?
1 GB of LPDDR2.
Are you with Texas Instruments?
I used to be with TI. I just joined Microsoft like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, welcome to the Wolf Den.
No, there's a few Microsoft
So I
folks.
still do this, as a side project or the weekends and stuff like that,
on.
because I started this, did the project at Texas Instruments, so I want to continue that project and to be successful.
Well, that's cool that you're still involved in this and promoting it and talking about it. That's really awesome.
Can you say, is your work at Microsoft now at all related to devices like this?
Well, it's mostly related to devices like this.
Mobile devices and things like that.
That's right,
Okay.
yeah.
But there's nothing in a lab at Microsoft HQ that kind of represents this running Windows, is there?
No, if there was, I'm not at the
Right,
level.
It would be NDA. Yeah.
Wink once for now. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Well, very cool. Thanks for coming on and
right,
chatting with us
thank
about it,
you.
man. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy the
Thanks.
show. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, the chat room, of course, because they have to. Of course, the Panda Board has been out before, but we actually don't really ever talk about it on the show. And I thought, geez, if we got somebody there who was, there since the creation of that device, that guy goes back all the way to the very beginning with that project. That is interesting to chat with him. Also interesting that he is now at Microsoft and at LinuxFest Northwest at that. So there you go. All right. Well, because we have so much LinuxFest Northwest stuff to get into, I think we're going to just call it right there. That's all the news for this week, Ange. Like every year, Angela, it's almost tradition now. We have to come back here and talk about LinuxFest Northwest. And you've gone a few years. You've actually almost made it for like the last 5 years or so.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, well, so this year, LinuxFest 2013 just wrapped up. Man, what a show it was. And we're actually going to have some clips in next week's episode, too, because Matt...
So much.
Yeah, well, there was so much, and Matt has some SD cards with even more interviews from the floor. We had some Alex and Noah who were out there recording interviews with folks for us. Awesome guys. They traveled a long way to help us out, and they helped a ton. We'll tell you more about that in a little bit. And some basically interviews with some of the greatest people who were there. And Matt's got all those on an SD card, and we've got a bunch of interviews today from people that stopped by our booth. So we might even have some great stuff in next week's show as well. But I wanted to start with our sponsor for this week's segment, System76. Now, let me tell you, the real star at LinuxFest Northwest was my Bonobo. It was my Bonobo. I got there and seriously, when I pulled the Bonobo out of the bag, a little crowd formed. Is that it? Is that the Bonobo?
And I thought it was your IX Systems t-shirt.
No, they
That
were
was
like
the star of the show.
They were like, oh, and they're checking it out, and they flipped it over and looked at the subwoofer. I tell you what, System 76 is awesome, and I love my new machine. And we got a note from viewer Rob. He says, you guys weren't kidding. He just got himself a System 76 machine. They really do pay attention to the small details. There's even a removable, cleanable filter on the bottom of the vent intake. Now that is class. It says they really care. They go the extra mile. And he also mentions that after he placed his order, Emma, one of the folks that works at System 76, was right there answering my questions, letting me know what the status was at every step of the way. A very personal touch that you just don't find anymore. Mm-hmm. You can bank on any future computer I purchase will have the System 76 logo on it. And Rob sent in these pictures of his new rig right there, the little
nice.
Right there, the little silver beast. Which is the one we kick around here for a lot of our in-studio testing. Mm-hmm. And he's got hooked up to 2 monitors. Very nice.
Yep.
So congratulations to Rob. Go over to System76.com, get yourself a machine that's born to run Linux, and tell him the Linux Action Show sent you. Boy, I love mine. All right, so, there's a lot of things that happened at LinuxFest Northwest this year. A lot of fun. The best crowd I think we've seen yet. Mm-hmm. And met tons and tons of viewers, which was awesome. And listeners. A lot of people are like, oh, well, actually, I'm not a viewer. I listen. Mm-hmm. Which is fine. That's good. But at the top of the last segment, I teased that we had an interview with one of the guys who's the evangelist for the Firefox OS platform. And that's Benjamin Carenza. And he also works with the Ubuntu project. You might be familiar with him. And we'll play our interview with him.
Hi, my name is Benjamin Carenza, and I'm a Ubuntu developer, and I'm also a member of the Mozilla Reps program and Mozilla Web Forward program, and I'm here today promoting Firefox OS at LinuxFest Northwest.
Awesome.
And you're doing that even though you're an Ubuntu developer?
I am.
Do you balance that out somehow, like more time in one, or does it kind of just where the need is and kind of float back and forth?
So most of the promotion for Ubuntu Touch is done by Canonical.
Okay.
They've kind of took the run with that. There's not been much promotion by the community. There has been some involvement at some events, but generally somebody from Canonical is always there.
Okay. So that frees up your time then to concentrate on the Mozilla work. All right, that's cool.
Yeah. Do you guys want to see my tattoo?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Let's show this. That's
awesome.
commitment.
Yeah.
That's commitment. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
So what do you think about all of the hubbub lately around Ubuntu?
Well, what specifically? There's always something.
I'd say start with Mir. What do you think?
Yeah, because I have a bet going with. I basically made the bet that Mir would be not only on Ubuntu but another distribution and used in production before Wayland. And if I'm wrong, I have to wear a sock monkey outfit. And the Mir team actually said, "Don't worry, Matt, we got your back on this." I'm hoping to God they do.
I think that Mir is going to be a good thing. I think that Ubuntu and Canonical forging its own path is always a good thing. I think more tools, more software, more options in open source is always going to be a great thing for the users. I think it only allows for more innovation in open source, because I think that the people in Wayland are doing a great job with what they're doing, but also this will allow Canonical to come up with some ideas in the Ubuntu community. And when they've got two different roadmaps, they're going to be different feature sets, and
And with the differentiator for me, based on just a total newbie looking at this, I guess it seems like that one's more focused on the desktop and the other's more focused on a unified experience across all platforms.
Yeah. I mean, the Ubuntu roadmap right now is for convergence. To have the same kind of experience across all the platforms.
That makes sense.
So.
Okay.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of exciting stuff going on, and there's a lot of people out there that don't necessarily want Ubuntu to succeed, but there's the people that understand the idea and the kind of vision that Mark Shuttleworth has, and
sure.
and I think that's gonna be something interesting to see over the next year
Absolutely.
or two, and see how that
more new stuff is cool. As far as I'm concerned, I
Yeah.
run multiple distributions. I like Ubuntu. I like OpenSUSE. Run them both almost equally.
Yeah.
I wonder. So, how do you feel? How does the world work where there's a successful Firefox OS phone and a successful Ubuntu Touch phone? How does that work?
How does that work for me? For me, that
or
works.
just in general, do you think there's an ecosystem demand for that could support two products like that?
I do. I think that Ubuntu Touch is going to be great. Obviously, Mozilla's got a 2-year lead on Canonical as far as developing a mobile platform, but they're two different platforms. They're both trying to do two different things. Canonical's trying to have convergence with its desktop, and Mozilla's just trying to make an open platform that's really crisp. And I think there's going to be an audience for the Firefox crowd, and I think there's going to be an audience for the Ubuntu crowd. I would love to have an Ubuntu phone as soon as they start to come out. And my understanding is that might be another year or so, but we'll see some dev phones by the end of the year, hopefully.
Well, that's cool. So it sounds like it's less about the two products. It's less about the brand, and it's more about what the user experience happens to fit that particular person.
Everybody wants a different experience. There's some people that like Linux Mint. They love Cinnamon. There's some people that love Unity. There's some people that they like GNOME 3, and it's good to have different flavors and alternatives.
It's kind of like opening up a candy store and you get to pick the flavor you like.
Exactly. It's all about user choice.
Like that.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
That.
Well, so, what areas do you work on in the Ubuntu project?
So I'm one of the first Juju authors. So that's the service orchestration for the cloud.
It's big.
I am helping revive our documentation project because that's kind of lost some contributors. And I also just worked on general development, bug fixes, and stuff like that.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And are you officially a member of the Firefox OS team, or?
I am not an official member of the Firefox
Just
OS
a
team.
promoter?
I'm on the Mozilla RIPS program, which is an evangelism team for all things Mozilla. So.
And how are they doing? Where are they? I don't see a lot about them in the headlines so much, but I see you have a device with Firefox OS on it. So are they shipping? Are they out there? Are a lot of people using them?
So Geeks Phone, I don't remember exactly what time, but it was like a week ago. They sold out. The same day.
Wow, really?
That's really saying something. Okay.
Yeah, and they're struggling to meet the demand, but they're getting more and more product out there so they can, people really want Firefox OS.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
That's an excellent problem to have.
Yeah. There's not enough spice, as your viewers would say.
That's what the chat room is saying right now.
we need more spice.
Exactly.
More spice must flow.
He controls the spice. So. Wait, what?
Love that.
Yeah, the chat room I think is a little more. I mean, I don't mean to talk badly about it since you're right here, but I just feel like I do kind of feel like with Android and iOS so firmly entrenched, maybe there's room for another one. And if there, honestly, we live in a Republican, Democrat, Coke, Pepsi kind of world, it seems like. And so it's going to be really, really hard to get in there. But, and I don't necessarily know this is a good thing, I think maybe the way in is by capitulating to carriers. What do you think about that problem? Do you think that's an issue that...
So I think that's how we live in the United States. But I think open source around the globe is more about user choice. I think we live here in the United States. We're a two-party system. We're a two-product system.
Right.
But I think the rest of the world's got...
intelligence?
Got the right idea. Latin America, if you look down there, they're using Fedora and Ubuntu just as much as just probably more than they're using Windows. It's so powerful down there, open source. The same thing in India and Asia. It's just amazingly big.
Yeah.
And my question is software ecosystems. I know that's something that can lock a lot of people in. I recently had the experience, and a horrible one at that, trying to migrate from iOS to Android, and all that investment that I had, because I was done with iOS. I was just completely finished with it. But trying to migrate that. So if someone's an Android user and they want to maybe say, try Mozilla setup, or they want to try something with Ubuntu, how do they deal with that ecosystem lock-in? Like, how can they? Because even Android, as awesome as it is, does kind of lock you in a little bit. Would people be able to make that migration over to just going web app? That kind of thing, or that's a tough question to answer.
It's a very tough question.
But it's one
I think it's going to be a personal challenge for individuals. You're going to have to make some.
So there's going to need to be a reason.
Yeah. There's going to be some compromises up front, but eventually you're going to get to love the platform so much that you're willing to make some sacrifices.
Well, it could be like it was for me in iOS, to where even though it was an income, it was a loss on money spent, it was worth it in the long haul. So I saw that as a bigger investment.
I think too. You know what we used to recommend on the show all the time was people would ask us, how do I move from Linux to Windows? And we would say, okay, while they're still on Windows, get them using Firefox, get them using OpenOffice, have them use Pigeon, and integrate all that stuff. I think now...
Almost like a gateway drug.
Yeah.
It is, yes.
And I think now it's have them put their data on the cloud, have them get their contacts in this cloud sync service, have them get their docs here at Dropbox or whatever.
Decentralized.
So once they start getting a little taste of open source, they see what the benefits are, and then they're like, I want the full experience.
Right.
And then they don't care about the locked-in features anymore.
Well, and these things like Dropbox and Google Docs and all these things kind of make it a little less platform important. I'm able to move around between various devices, between an iPad and several Android devices on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I think that's, and including my text messages, all of my docs, all of my pictures.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting close.
I mean, I see you guys are using Ubuntu here right at the booth. So I mean, that's great to see that you guys are using a multitude of different tools here to put your show together.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got the System76 laptop.
Yeah, they're great. I love their hardware.
Yeah. And the 1304 right out of the day it released.
Yeah, they were hard at work on the R&D, just making sure they were where they needed to be.
I heard they had a special upgrade process or something like that, or instructions. Is that true? Or?
Well, they just I don't know. I just did the regular upgrade, but I think they just was an informational thing.
Oh, okay.
You can do this, and this is how easy.
So was
it
it
is.
just a normal upgrade? There wasn't anything special.
No, yeah, that was my experience.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. All right,
How are you
man.
guys liking 1304?
It's fast.
I would say, we were we called it boring as a tongue-in-cheek way of saying, it's really gotten there.
Well, there's no problems to shake our fists at.
Right.
That's something we look for in a lot of Linux distributions. We're vocal people.
It's like, what do we
want to have it? We want to have a beef with
Well,
it.
the new Unity stack's going to be landing next release in the Saucy Salamander. So
it's gonna get
that's going to be
spicy
something.
again.
Yeah, and there's going to be some new scopes and more stuff to talk about, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's coming, right? This is the calm before the storm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I look forward to watching your guys' show and
Thanks, man.
seeing you
Appreciate
guys cover 1310.
Thanks, man. Thanks for
so much
joining
for
us.
Have a
stopping
good
by.
Yeah.
It's good talking to you. So, thank you.
You want some? Did you grab some stickers?
Yeah, definitely grab some stickers.
Yeah, grab some stickers. Gotta grab stickers.
Yeah.
Everybody's gotta grab stickers.
So the chat room that was watching the live stream, because we live streamed all day,
Yeah, that was
they
great.
were taking shots every time we offered somebody to grab a sticker.
We got the chat room drunk on Saturday. Yeah.
And we also, another great thing was
What?
was the Linux beards
Oh yeah.
that went by,
yeah,
and
Every time a beard walked by?
someone equated the length of beard to years of practice, and like tree rings.
Rings in a tree.
Yeah, and so at one point, like 5 minutes later, somebody was like, 7 years of Linux just walked by.
Our chat room was having
was
a good
great.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I got to chat with somebody who stops by LinuxFest Northwest every single year, at least for the last 5 years or so. And I've always thought it was kind of brave because he's from the other side of the persuasion. He's from the BSD camp. His name is James, and he works with James Systems.
Yeah.
And you work with FreeBSD or PCBSD?
Both. I work for IX Systems, so we kind of support the FreeBSD project.
Okay. And so, why does a BSD project come to LinuxFest? There's BSD conferences. I've heard about them.
We got to subvert all the Linux users.
Oh, there it is.
Come to
There
the
it
dark
is.
side.
There it is. Does it work?
Sure, yeah, it does. Actually, the GS Slug users, they're all on PCBSD now.
No,
I
really?
swear to God.
Oh my
gosh.
goodness. So,
Wow.
Now, do you work much in the FreeNAS side of the IX Systems range of products?
Not as much as I should, but I did. So I did the initial porting it to Django.
Okay.
Some of that, the initial design stuff, work with the graphic designer and stuff.
Right.
But as soon as it gets the Ajax and all that stuff, and more of the crazy Python stuff, these like crazy hackers come in and they start adding all their code, and so it just it got really complex really quick.
Yeah.
I do a lot of the website stuff these days. We just launched the new FreeNAS.
Looking good too. New
Thanks a lot.
FreeNAS.org.
Yep.
Yeah, looking
Nice.
really good. We showed it off on a recent TechSnap, and
Some of the stuff we want to start working on is simplifying the FreeNAS interface, allowing you to choose like simple, where it's not giving you ZFS terminology. It's
something that people who are maybe not familiar with it might recognize.
right. Like, what is a sysctl? What
exactly.
What do I put into loaders? I don't know what that is. Like,
Syscuddle sounds nice.
It does. It got cuddled.
Yeah. So, have you seen these projects that are working on bringing ZFS over to Linux?
I've heard about it.
Yeah, you guys don't play with any of that over there?
We don't.
You kind of point and laugh and say, "Isn't that adorable?"
We're like, what? That happens?
Yeah.
It's like,
right.
Ouch, that hurts.
Like, oh, it stings.
have you tried it? Is it any good?
No, but a lot of people write in about it and tell us it's really good.
Okay.
I mean, I have a FreeNAS box myself, so I have one of those FreeNAS minis. at home.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it a lot, and I got it because of ZFS. And then what I do is I run Ubuntu servers in front of it, so they attach over NFS and run a series of VMs over NFS off of the FreeNAS box.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I use it for media storage and stuff like that. Yeah,
That's cool.
I mean, I know there's a big community around ZFS on Linux because they're getting bigger and bigger. So, but it really seems like you guys are IX Systems in particular, they've thrown down behind PCBSD and behind the Freenas project some really great projects that are coming around at a time when I think BSD usage is going way up and up, faster than it's ever gone up. How do you guys though make money from that? Where does IX Systems make money from the increased adoption of ZFS and BSD?
Through the sales of the TrueNAS software, on our supported platform.
Yeah, okay.
And that's about it. I mean, we're not we're not selling,
Right. You don't sell PCBSD
or Freenas really, right?
Yeah.
So, but we will sell you a box of Freenas loaded on it, but it's not like the TrueNAS setup.
Right.
You're not getting that same.
Well, awesome, man. Thanks for chatting with us.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of the fest.
All right.
All right. See you. It's good seeing you again. Every year. That's great. It's been like 4 or 5 years, right?
In a row, yeah.
That's awesome. You see, we can even tolerate at LinuxFest Northwest our cousins. We'll call them our cousins. I always like to bump into James because the PCBSD and Freenas are a couple of my favorite things, so I'm a big fan of IX Systems because of them supporting those projects. Mm-hmm. Speaking of James, Angela, you had a little chat with somebody named James from the OpenSUSE project.
I did, and before we roll into that interview, I just want to point out that Chris had stepped away and hit unrecord, and that was right. James Mason stopped by right afterwards.
Right.
And I said, hey, I'll interview you.
Yeah. Hey, stop by. Because that's what
he
we
had,
were doing.
He had come by because Chris said, hey, come by, I'll interview you.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And so then Chris got back. I'm like, yeah, I interviewed James. It was really awesome. And the chat room was all like, that was great, Angela. And then Chris was like, oh, did you hit record? And I was like, no. Like, I didn't even think to check Wirecast first because I had seen that it was recording earlier.
Yeah, I'd been recording all day.
I even said, before James walked up, I said, I'm not sure if we have hard drive space to record the stream all day.
Yeah,
like,
I
how are
decided
we
to give
doing
it a
that?
break. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, thankfully, Albert Westra, our awesome Jupyter Colony guru,
who was raw. So Albert made it so that people who were on G Plus were able to almost be there. I mean, he really did an awesome job.
Yeah, he did this page. This is his page.
Yeah. He created a community
event.
He created an event over on G Plus, and you know what? I'll link to this in the show notes, and it's just tons of pictures
and videos. And so he actually recorded that interview. And that is how we are playing it for your faces now.
Thankfully, the only reason we have it is because of Albert doing a backup recording for us.
Thank you. Of the OpenSUSE booth.
Hi, Angela. How you doing?
Good. Anything you want to tell them?
We're just having a fun time out here at LinuxFest. Our motto at OpenSUSE is have a lot of fun. And so I really tried to take that to heart this year. Instead of having a table that we're standing behind, we're sitting down in some nice Adirondack chairs.
Yep. And I have
a drink and inviting people to come in and relax and play around. We got a few toys for big kids and little kids.
And what's your plan for tomorrow?
We're going to do the same thing tomorrow, except Sunday's usually a much quieter crowd.
Yeah.
So we're telling people if they have a laptop or even a PC that they're having a little trouble with their OpenSUSE, they're welcome to bring it in.
Oh,
and we'll have
cool.
time to sit down one-on-one and work with them and fix their problems. And then for other people stopping by, we're going to try to explain open source a little bit using origami. So we're going to do chameleons and penguins in origami. I think it's a great metaphor for open source, and that it's a toy that you can see how it works and how it goes together, and you can change it yourself.
And most importantly, it's an experience, which is something I do on my faux show. Have you ever seen the faux show?
Experience. I love the faux show.
Yeah, woo! Cool, good. Well, that's really cool. I like your not sitting behind a booth.
Yeah, we're trying to make it fun.
Are you doing any talks?
I'm doing a talk tomorrow
Okay.
on JavaScript frameworks.
Okay, cool.
So it was a research project I did at work, and I'm just trying to share the knowledge as much as I can and hopefully save some other people the pain.
Yeah. Isn't that why we educate people? Really?
Yeah.
It's be like, I did it.
Absolutely.
And either yes or no about whether other people should try. So, yeah.
So I brought a little something over, and I'm sorry I don't have two. I only have one.
Okay.
But I brought it for Chris.
Oh, he's going to love that.
I'm an OpenSUSE community person, but I also work for SUSE on SUSE Studio, and I want him to know that when it comes to enterprise distributions, there is one enterprise distribution that understands what consultants go through.
Okay.
So we want to help him out. We give him OpenSUSE for fun.
Okay.
We've got SUSE to help him get their work done, and at the end of the day, I got a shot glass for him.
That is
so
awesome.
So he can sit down and relax when it's done.
Let me get a close-up here. There we go. That is awesome. He's going to love that. Thank you.
So I hope next time he's bringing Linux into a client, he'll remember which enterprise distribution is going to be there for him at the end of the day.
It'll be on his mind. I promise you that.
All right.
Very cool.
Well, thanks for having me over, Angela.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
It's too bad I couldn't have been there because I've known James for a long time now. He goes by Bear in the chat room, and he's in there often during the regular show, and that shot glass is high quality.
Yeah, it's great. And the thing is, we don't have any shot glasses.
No, I know, we don't.
We have one shot glass as an open system now.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to show his booth real quick?
Do we have a picture of it in
Yeah,
here?
we were.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. So for you audio listeners, I will describe it. So he got these nice yard chairs, green yard chairs, because OpenSUSE is all about green.
Chameleons.
And then what did he tell you what the deal was with the bubble wrap?
He brought the bubble wrap for kids.
Oh, like our son Dylan
yeah.
right there in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mr. Lunduk spent some time in the booth over at OpenSUSE, and James said something there in the interview that I thought was really interesting. He said, Sunday's a little more low key, so we're doing something different. We're having people stop by with their machines.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is so cool.
That is really, really cool. All right, so we've got a couple of more things that I want to play for you guys, but I think we'll just wrap it there. Let's tell them. So I want to say, before we get done with some of the interviews, we'll have more next week, and we have actually one more in the Etsy segment, so we're not all done yet. But I wanted to take a second and say thank you to the community. It started as something that just Matt and I were trying to just brainstorm and come up with something. It was sort of a last-minute thing. I mean, the situation that we're in here is, in order to do an on-location event at this point, we have to disassemble the entire studio and put it all in a car and drive it up there. And now the Linux Action Show is the big show, but it's not the only show we do anymore. So that means sort of putting all the other shows on the line, because if anything goes wrong when you're reassembling the studio, nothing gets done. None of the shows get done. So it was a big gamble for us. And when I got sick, I started to panic a little bit, because I knew I was so sick that I wasn't going to be able to go back into the room. It just hit me like Superman punching me. It's like boom, right in the gut. But we had a crew of about 7 guys who were amazing in helping us tear it down. Brian 2040, who killed tons of airtime too. He was great. He was our wingman when Matt and I needed somebody to kill time on the stream until we waited for the next person. He would jump right up.
Garrett, don't forget Garrett.
Garrett, who drove like 7 hours or 9 hours to be there. He when we're before the credits, I'm going to play a bunch of montage clips that he went around and got of all the booths.
Yep.
Garrett got all of that footage for us. Noah and Alex, who brought professional cameras and microphones, and were going around on the floor while Matt and I were staying behind the booth. So we got on the floor interviews as well, not just the ones we've played. We'll have those next week. I mean, those guys came and just sort of like added a whole nother level to what we were capable of doing. And it's looking back on it now, I don't know how we did it without them. So a huge thank you to those guys. And tons of people who stopped by and said hi to us. Tons of people online in the chat room who were helping us out. Guys like Albert on G+, who were getting people involved. The Reddit community, who was grabbing things and having fun with it. All around, it was an awesome example of how great the
LinuxFest
community
Northwest in general.
Yeah.
They were super handy with giving us a booth with the TV.
Yeah, we got a TV, which is super cool.
They were at our booth almost as often as the Blazing Onion Burger waitresses that check on us when we, when we're having lunch.
You know what else was cool about LinuxFest Northwest staff is they're like, well, we know you're going to be doing a stream, so we've given you your own dedicated VLAN. Here's a connection that goes straight to the switch. You've got your own dedicated port. You're not going through anybody's hub. Here's a picture of me. There I am playing with the Firefox OS phone.
Is amazing, because like the wireless was horrible.
Well, and we were
if you can imagine all the geeks there all connecting.
Yeah, and we were in a weaker spot too, because it was up in the corner, so we were at the distance spot from it.
Right.
And here's a shot of Brian 2040, Matt, myself, and my son Dylan hanging out. Killing time with the stream. It was really fun to do something all day long too. And you might have saw that there was a Nerf war, and we'll have some clips from that coming up in the show. But there you go, Angela. That's our look at LinuxFest Northwest 2013. Be sure to tune in next week to see even more stuff. But now I got something special for you in /Etsy. Now, this segment of /Etsy is brought to you by our sponsor, Untangle. Now, you guys know about Untangle, don't you? Right? Don't you? Because choosing an edge of network device is a big commitment, not just of your time, but of your money and your resources. And Untangle knows that, and they want to earn your trust. So, Jack, guess what? Go over to untangle.com, and you can try out Untangle software in your network for free. No credit card needed, no commitment to buy, no need to cancel or anything. You just go grab and download the ISO and try it out. You'll be impressed at how Untangled converts any standard machine into a Linux firewall appliance. It is really awesome. I've worked with Untangle in my clients. Angela, I won't mention the client out loud, but they work by the airport. You know which one I'm talking about? And they had a network of about 200 users, and boy, by the time they were done, about 40 servers. And they used Untangle for their main firewall.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
I've had years and years and years of hands-on experience with Untangle devices. Go over to Untangle and check it out. Go download their ISO and try it out. It's really, really quite fantastic. All right, so something special for the /Etsy segment this week's episode. We've talked to these guys before, but they've moved their project a little bit further. And if you haven't caught this interview in the past, there's some new stuff added, but there's it's just fascinating if you love beer, if you love home automation, any of that stuff. So here we go. I'll play it for you right now.
My name is Kirk Forsberg. I am founder of LinuxAutomation.org. We're designing open source, open design hardware.
Like with controllers and...
Yeah, you got some goodies there.
2 of my control modules right here. This is version 0.3 of our control module. This is what we use.
And then that would just slide right into the enclosure there, it looks like. You can pop that into the wall. And
Which you can tell most of these are off-the-shelf parts from Home Depot.
Oh, that's awesome.
We like to keep the hardware off the shelf.
Yeah, so that anybody can do it.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
You've got some toggle switches and some LEDs.
Yeah,
there.
manual override switches.
Oh, that's so cool.
So
You've got a fan in the chat room. Silker, I recognize you.
Nice.
Oh, right on.
I like that.
Yeah, this is like I said, this is version 0.3. We're working on version. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Looks like you have a
oh,
Ethernet
that's
port
really
there.
fancy.
And,
This is again off-the-shelf parts.
Wow.
We just use this connector because it's cheap.
Right.
This connects to the serial port on the computer.
Oh, that's
and then,
cool.
And then this D-sub connector is actually the DC input, or excuse me, DC output for the. This powers our brewing system.
Oh, that makes. Oh no, that's cool. So basically, you built a unit that will literally run Linux. I mean, and runs Linux to brew beer.
Linux runs on a computer.
Right.
And this is just the I/O.
Right.
for the computer.
Exactly.
So yeah, it'll run anything you can load Linux on.
Cool.
You can use it to automate. At the moment, as I said, we use it to brew beer. We use it to maintain the temperature, fermentation temperature. We also use it to maintain the temperature in the beer fridge.
Well, that's very important.
And
That's the man that loves his
my
beer.
colleague Ryan has it maintaining his furnace.
Love that. Love it.
He can log in remotely and turn the heat up.
So
That's cool.
Are we going to live in a world where there's a network of Linux devices in my house controlling different aspects of it?
Hopefully.
That would be awesome.
So.
And now the faceplate to that, is that something that you fabricate yourself, or is that?
Yeah, fabricated the faceplate.
Okay.
I looked into having them fabricated for us,
Right.
and it was too expensive.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, and if you can do it yourself, why not, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And brewing beer was a natural fit. That was
Yes,
yeah.
I love beer, I love electronics, and I love Linux.
So it was a strong marriage.
I found a way to combine all three. And
I love that.
we also we're exploring some other applications for the automation system, but we're too busy brewing beer most of the time.
You're doing what you love, though. That's what matters.
We're thinking about doing a greenhouse automation.
Oh, now that would be interesting.
And also like a sprinkler system.
Right.
We've got a guy, we're going to automate his smoker. He owns a barbecue joint.
Oh, that is awesome. I want that.
We need software developers. So
Where should they go? Because we've got some in the chat room right now.
LinuxAutomation.org. There's a contact. It's kind of just a splash page. Like I said, we spend a lot of our time brewing beer.
Okay, but that's a place they can contact you. They can go to LinuxAutomation.org and reach out to you from your contact.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right on, Kurt. Well, thank you for joining us.
So,
Appreciate that.
any more questions?
I can't think of anything. We got the beer. We got the fabrication figured out off the shelf. Yeah, we got,
Cool. And I'll see you guys at the after party.
Maybe.
For a little bit.
Oh, come on.
I gotta get this set up so we can put you on the air tomorrow.
Yes.
Dude,
Well, you're on the air right now.
We're gonna try.
the beer we brewed at the fest last year We're serving it tonight.
Ooh.
It's a 11.5% barley
I
wine.
think you got him.
11.5%, man. Aged for a year. We call it old technology.
When is that being served?
I believe the after party starts at 7,
Yeah, usually it's 7, I think, every year.
and I have no idea where it is.
Yeah, I think it's to be announced, isn't it? Yeah.
It's in your
Is it in our thing?
in your little booklet there.
The chat room, before we let you go, the chat room wants to know what language for development are you looking for?
We're hoping to find a C developer, PHP, and SQL.
Oh,
We're open to suggestions, though. Right now, everything is badly written Bash scripts.
Oh, sure. But it gets the job done for the time
Yeah.
being. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
It works, you know.
that's cool.
Makes the beer happen. That's cool. That's cool. All right.
All right.
Thanks,
well,
man.
Appreciate
nice
it.
talking to you.
Nice talking to you. Good luck with the show.
I'll see you
Yeah.
at the after party, right?
Oh, I think you're gonna. I think I have
I think
to.
you sold him.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Unfortunately, hello everybody. Hello.
Hello.
Take a sticker. Unfortunately, I got too sick. I didn't make it to the after party, but that beer sounded outrageously good, right? Mm-hmm. Oh man, old technology.
Except I don't drink beer, but
No,
yeah.
but they brew it at the LinuxFest last year, and
Yeah,
we have an
that's
interview
really
with them.
cool.
Here, here's one more picture. Look at this. Speaking of beards, look at the beard on that guy. That's a great one.
Well, look at that stash on the other guy.
Yeah, there's no. I know the other guy's got a crazy stash. So there you go. Thanks to Untitled for sponsoring us /Etsy. But Ange, it's time to move on. And that brings us to the end of this week's broadcast. Now, Ange, this is usually where I would read several emails, but I didn't have a chance to go through the emails because I was putting the studio together before we got the show. But I
Sure.
did, before we started the show, but I did want to say thank you to everybody on Twitter, everybody on G+, and everybody in the subreddit who posted threads wishing me well, because you guys know I never cancel a show.
No.
Like, I never cancel a show. So if I cancel a show over being sick, you knew I was really sick. So I really appreciate everybody who sent in a note to wish me well. And Ange, before we get out of here, you know, you're not a day-to-day Linux user. You've gone to LinuxFest Northwest for years. What was your favorite moment at LinuxFest? What'd you think?
Well, I liked doing, talking to people and telling them about Linux Action Show. A lot of them
Yeah.
were like, "Yeah, I've heard of it." And, but this one guy, he was a grandpa, and I'm not just doing age bias here. He literally has a grandson Dylan's age, because Dylan was right there with me. He said, "Do you do the faux show?"
The grandpa?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but we're here because of the Linux Action Show. Do you watch that?
That's so funny.
And it was great. It was like, yes, I do. And anyway, and then I just thought that was really cool. But then
Yeah.
he started telling me about his Pentium 4 and all the distributions that he has installed on it,
Awesome.
Gen 2 and whatever. And
I missed a lot when I
just
stepped away.
smiled and nodded because I had no idea what he was talking about. But it was just
He
really
probably
cool.
assumed you did because
I
at the
know.
Linux Action Show booth. Yeah.
I know.
I missed, I stepped away and missed several hours, and the guys did a great job of keeping the stream going. And, thanks again to Matt. He put the whole show
Seriously.
together and then got sick. His wife had to call me this morning because he was too sick. He's like,
Wow.
So Matt's on the floor right now.
Jeez.
So
Yes.
it's nasty when it goes
Yeah.
around. Yeah, I agree. Chatting and meeting with different people is absolutely the highlight. And it's LinuxFest Northwest has always been a ton of fun. And I talked a little bit about this on this week's Coda Radio episode 47 that just went out this morning. And we talked about we contrasted it because Apple has this Worldwide Developers Conference that they're doing like in June or July, and it's sold out in 2 minutes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's this massive event. And, I'd say, there's well over 1,000 people, maybe 1,400 people that attend LinuxFest Northwest, but it's manageable. It's, it's not overwhelming, except for
Actually,
sometimes.
yeah, they were going to be posting the counts.
Yeah, I think they will soon. Yeah, I don't think they have it yet, but just going off last
Yeah.
year's numbers, and they've always have an increase in attendance every single year, which is really cool too.
Yeah. Well, we saw an increase in
Yeah.
viewers and
Yeah.
listeners.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, yep. It was really cool. All right, well, I got one more thing we'll play from LinuxFest Northwest this week, and it's just kind of a summary of everything. It's a little more visual heavy, so if you are, there's some funny stuff in this. If you're an audio listener, it might be worth going to grab the video version, but hopefully you'll like it too. And don't forget, the Linux Action Show's live normally on Sundays over at jupiterbroadcasting.com. You can find links to my social profiles, as well as a link to the Jupiter Signal.
Which is now in audio.
Oh, yeah, we do an audio version of the Jupiter Signal, so it's even more reason to grab our monthly newsletter. Go over to bit.ly/Jupiter Signal. Oh, and one last plug. Next week, Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, Monday is Coda Radio. And we're doing a special call-in episode. And I'm putting the word out because we need people to call in, because if you don't call in, we don't have a show. That's kind of how that works. So, all right, there you go. We'll leave with this. And
so before all my sessions,
enjoy.
I'm taking a picture of everybody, but I'm asking them all to look like they're falling asleep out of boredom. So here's what I got so far. So that's from today's.
That is really good. See that? So Brian's getting his audiences to look like they're zoning out.
So he was trying to get an engaged audience, and look what ends up happening.
Everyone pretend like you're falling asleep right now.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I am. But this goes on top of the Raspberry Pi, and it gives you pinouts of all of the what we call pin positions of the GPIO. I totally ninja'd that. It was all like the Matrix up in here. Oh!
Oh, nice.
Why is Jen so angry? No! No!